Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, as we get set and ready for the opening pitch. The Mountaineers will be in their all blacks, black on black, jerseys and pants. Mr. Mountaineer on the left chest, golden letters and numbers. Well, there's no letters. Golden numbers on the front and back. For Crowder, the Rough Riders will be in the blue jersey, black numbers on the back, white pants with the blue stripe down the left and right side of it. And again, Nate Ackenhausen, the 8-0 pitcher through 9 appearances this season, the big lefty to take to the mound for the Mountaineers to get things started. For the Crowder Rough Riders, they will send out a lineup of Houston King, their left fielder, batting first. Josh Patrick, the first baseman. Peyton Holt, the third baseman. Gavin Glasgow, the DH. Kenny DiClemente, the second baseman. Jackson Cobb, the shortstop. Landry Wilkerson out in right field. Adamo Stornello behind the plate. And Clayton Gray out in center field as the 1 through 9. The first pitch here of this district tournament is right there over the heart of the plate. Strike one, 0-1 to King.
Yeah, that's a great way to start things out for Ackenhausen. Showing the heat early on, that is just a very nice way to start things.
That was that beautiful two-seam. He loves to throw it and pulls the string off speed with the slider outside. But a swing and strike by King and quickly 0-2.
And the big thing about this Crowder offense has been the strikeouts, like you said during the pregame show. That's what Ackenhausen's going to attack.
And so far, one lefty through the lineup. This one back up the middle. Great 0-2 piece of hitting by Houston King to start things off. He bounces back with the single. A leadoff single for the Rough Riders to start off this tournament.
Yeah, and he's the leadoff guy for a reason. He has a great plate approach. He's got a .345 batting average. He is a threat on the bases as well. 16 stolen bases, never been caught stealing all season long.
Coach Lallemand for the Rough Riders, a historic head coach himself as well. He's done a lot with this Crowder program over recent success. 7-time regional champions they now is Crowder, and they've also won this district tournament quite a few times as well. First pitch up and in for a ball to Patrick, 1-0.
And Josh Patrick is the guy to watch on this Crowder offense. He leads them in just about every single statistical category outside of stolen bases and hits.
Ackenhausen may be looking for a little bit of contact, try to roll a double play ball, but he needs to find the zone. After jumping ahead of King 0-2, falls behind 2-0 now to Patrick. And like you said, the stolen base threat of King over at first base as well. But the lefty, it's always hard to steal a left-handed pitching. Down 2-0, Ackenhausen in the count. Takes his time, delivers to the plate, catches the outside part. 2-1.
Ackenhausen, a 1.49 ERA all season long. He's got a .155 batting average against him as well, so he's been very, very solid. But the first inning has been his biggest issue.
Not a big lead by King at first. 2-1 the count at the plate. Ackenhausen a big deep breath on the mound. Looks over to first, now to the plate, delivers the 2-1 slider, swing and strike, 2-2.
And it's tough to test that arm of Parker Rowland behind the plate. He is just so accurate. He's got such a strong arm, so I think Crowder might test him out at some point over this weekend, but maybe not this early.
Number 48 in the nation is rolling in. Runners caught stealing. He has 12 of them in from his right arm. 2-2 count, looking for the first out of the top of the first inning. The runner at first after the leadoff single. Ackenhausen looking to first still. A long pause, now to the plate. Swung on and missed, strike three, the first of possibly many on this contest for Nate.
And that's got to be a lot of confidence for Ackenhausen. Josh Patrick has been the best batter for Crowder all season long. He's not a guy who strikes out a whole lot comparatively to some of the other guys on Crowder, so that's got to be a big confidence booster.
Now, the one thing with Crowder, doing the research, of course, they went 0-2 against Connors State this year. The same exact scores in both of those matchups. It was a 6-5 loss, both home and away for the respective sides, but 0-2 against Connors State. Now, we know the power and the potential that Connors State had, but there wasn't much of a fight when they played NEO and such in the regional tournament, so very interesting that they dropped both games to them in the regular season. Speaking of dropping, it's going to be a ball 1-0 from Ackenhausen to Peyton Holt, the third baseman, in the 3 spot. Still the runner at first and King. Ackenhausen to bounce back with a strikeout after the leadoff single. A swing and a miss on this one. And so far there has been one piece of contact from Crowder, and that was the single. Otherwise, swings and misses galore.
Yeah, ground ball up the middle, too. It just wasn't in a playable situation. It's not a piece of hitting that I think Ackenhausen is going to be too upset about.
Still looking at King over at first base. That's the lefty. He has a long stare down, but this time brings it to the plate. That one just a little bit low. And another 2-1 count.
Yeah, it's a good battle right now at the plate for Peyton Holt. He's an Arkansas commit. So one of his teammates on the other side, and Isaac Webb, is playing shortstop.
Now, Webb would love to start a turn to double play here, go a little 6-4-3 if he can. First things first, though, Crowder A has to make a piece of contact on the baseball, and B, put it within play. The 2-1. Swung on and missed. Strike two and another 2-2 count. Ackenhausen has fallen behind in the last two batters, but he's bounced back phenomenally, locating the ball well, good movement on his pitches, and a lot of velocity so far.
He's had really good stuff when it's mattered the most here right at the beginning of the South Central District Tournament.
This district tournament being held in New Orleans at Lewis Rags Schureman Field at Kirsch Rooney Stadium here on this campus of Delgado Community College. We appreciate them for hosting the hospitality and a great facility to play a few games of baseball. The 2-2 from Ackenhausen. A couple of looks, home and first, back to home he goes. Swung on and missed. Strike three, back-to-back for Ackenhausen.
And he's putting on a show. He is putting on a show. Usually he's a 14.46 strikeouts per 9 type of guy. Right now he is striking out both of the outs for Eastern.
But now the cleanup hitter, Gavin Glasgow, comes up to DH, and this is exactly the situation he wants to be in. Have some runners on. Get up there. Now, granted, the 2-out situation, not the best for him, but that's what you want in a cleanup hitter. You clean up the runners that get on base. Just so happens Crowder struck out twice before he could come to the plate. The first pickoff over to King, not in time.
Yeah, with 2 outs, he's just trying to make sure that they don't move a runner into scoring position.
Glasgow on the year, a .314 batter, but only 3 home runs in this cleanup. He struggled, went 1 of 15 in the regional tournament. It was a fairly easy regional tournament for Crowder. Not much pressure for them. Delgado on the other side. We'll talk about that when Eastern and Delgado face off against each other. A check swing held back. Eastern fans wanted it. Instead, it's ball 1, the 3rd straight batter. Ackenhausen has fallen behind.
Crowder did lose one of those games against Jefferson 12-11, but outside of that, they beat up on the other teams inside of the tournament and were able to bounce back in the final championship game 7-1 against the same team, Jefferson.
Yeah. Just off the scores, yeah, absolutely. You know, yeah, that one hiccup game, but otherwise, oh, well, they are seasoned veterans in front of us. I was bailing out. I was already into the car. That one right back to the cage, 1-1.
But at least we know the networks, and if you're looking at the top right of your screen right now, you can see us. So if the bow tie guy does a little bit of a flinch, you can see it.
We appreciate everybody back at home listening in for this district tournament. It's an honor to be out here, and we thank the college and all the fans and family and friends for allowing us to get out here to New Orleans. The 1-1 from Ackenhausen trying to get out of this top of the first. With 2 down, this one hit high to the left side. We'll see how deep this field is. Shire's going back to the fence, to the wall. That one is gone.
That is a huge shot and a huge bounce back for Gavin Glasgow, who, like you said, struggled in the region tournament, but right now he's getting Crowder off to a really great start. And that's been the biggest issue for Eastern, is starting out from behind and really not being able to put runs on the board early on.
Yeah, the top of the first inning plagued them in the regional tournament, but Eastern was able to bounce back in all 3 games, find the way to come out victorious. But here they are again, trailing 2-0 after the first.
It's a tough way to start, but for Ackenhausen in his last outing, it was 3-0 when he first took them out in the first inning. He bounced back, only gave up 1 more run, and Eastern eventually won that game. 4th
home run given up by Ackenhausen, and the 4th home run hit by the DH and Glasgow. This one over to the right side. Jonah Cox, a couple of dribbles, takes his time, fires the first. 1 pitch later, he's out of the inning, but the damage is done. 2-0, the Rough Riders with the lead, but for Ackenhausen, if he only gives up 2, that's going to be okay. We'll take the break. We'll be back for Eastern's first chance to get to the bats right here on Mountaineer TV.